On everybody, what is going on? The catch fam, I hope everyone out there is doing phenomenal tonight. Hope you guys are looking forward to a great weekend, and I hope you guys are ready for week 14 of the 2023 fantasy football season, because whether you're ready or not, it is just a day or two away. Huge week for fantasy football, so many different implications coming up for that week 15, which is going to be most of your guys' fantasy playoffs, or at least the first weekend of it. So, a lot on the line, a lot of juicy updates going into this weekend. And you know what? You guys know what we're here for. Week 14 fantasy Q&A, whatever you guys need, start sits, ads, drops, whatever it may be. We're here to help you with whatever that is. And we've got Pete from After the Review Sports in the house with us. What's going on, man?
Not much. It's playoff time. Secured a playoff berth in my big money league. I'm pretty much screwed in my family league thanks to Isaiah Pacheco and Jamar Chase. That was awesome. And you and me with a showdown in the Catch Fam League for a playoff spot. So should be a lot of fun this week.
I knew at some point our matchup was going to come up. And I mean, obviously, there's like, 10 leagues for the catch this year. But in the main Catch Fam tournament, yeah, me and you head to head.
Getting in.
And looks like whoever wins will make it in. I think there's a scenario if I lose, I can still make it in.
Probably
I don't
just
know.
points or something. Yeah, everybody's super close in that league.
On top of that, it is a great night to have you in the house because we have a couple updates for the Vikings. Josh Dobbs going to start at quarterback, and Justin Jefferson's back. How do you feel? How should we feel as fantasy managers with maybe Justin Jefferson or Josh Dobbs?
I mean, they're going to give it a go, see what Dobbs can do with Jefferson. God bless us. Dobbs can't throw a football unless they change the offense over the bye, which it sounds like they tried to do. He's going to have a super short leash. It sounds like they're ready to go to Nick Mullins if they need to, if this starts spiraling. Yeah, JJ's going to get his targets. He's going to catch the ball. The Raiders suck. They're bad. Ty Chandler's probably going to get some good touches finally, hopefully. I don't know. I think Addison's the guy if you're going to have a guy that has a breakout because Jefferson's going to draw those doubles still, and he's going to get soft coverages. But I'm not very confident in us this week. I'm not confident in us the rest of the season.
I was curious to get your take on guys like Addison and Hawkinson going into the weekend, which I guess obviously you like them. So, but I'm excited. I don't know. At least we get, with all the bad news we've had, injuries, at least we get a little sprinkle of JJ. So we'll see how it goes. So we'll talk more about that throughout the night. But let's take a quick look at the news for the day and past couple of days. Dallas Goedert expected to play for the Cowboys. Or excuse me, against the Cowboys.
Against the Cowboys.
Yeah. But for the Eagles, this is kind of an interesting update because I'm a little bit worried about starting Dallas Goedert this weekend in this matchup. But you never know there. Isaiah Pacheco is not going to play. So the race for Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Jerick McKinnon went on in a lot of fantasy leagues today. How do we feel about them? We'll get into that tonight. Looks like Trevor Lawrence is actually going to be a game time decision this weekend. And Christian Kirk out at least 4 games on IR. So those are the big updates other than JJ, which we've obviously already gone over. But I want to get your take on one thing before we hop into some actual fantasy questions. How do you feel about the little murmurs coming out of Brandon Staley about Austin Eckler maybe not being the RB1 and maybe Josh Kelly getting more touches this weekend?
For those that watch me, and if you don't, I hate Brandon Staley more than pretty much anybody in the NFL as far as a coach goes. Well, what is wrong with him? What is wrong with him? Like, he's going to say that, and then Eckler's still going to get his touches. People are going to sit and play Kelly. They're playing the worst run defense in football this week, or the 31st, I think, against running backs. Like, if Eckler doesn't do something, okay, there's a real problem, but I can't see him not. Eckler gets a ton of volume. They've played decent defenses. This team is a dumpster fire right now. I don't get it. I hate Brandon Staley the worst. Everyone's gonna go play Kelly, sit Eckler, and Eckler's gonna have 2 touchdowns. And if you don't do that, then Kelly's gonna get a touchdown and Eckler's gonna get 3 points. So whatever decision everybody makes, it's going to be the wrong one.
Yeah, that's how. And I actually like the Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jerick McKinnon situation. I could see a similar thing happening, but I'm with you. I think Austin Eckler is a good start this week. I actually really like him, and I mean, we've seen some games this year where Josh Kelly has gotten a little bit more involved, and Austin Eckler has still gotten the same amount of volume. So maybe that happens, but I don't think Eckler's out of the game plan. It, like you said, it's just way too good of a matchup. So I'm with you. If you own Eckler, I say he is okay to start this week. Don't be worried about it. All right, good to see everyone at the top of the chat and everyone else in the chat. So let us know what you guys need. If you guys don't need anything, let us know how are things looking in your leagues. Have you clinched a playoff spot? Are you right on the verge? How do you feel about your teams overall? Just so many like up and down points of this season, so many injuries. So let us know how you guys are doing and what you guys are looking like going into week 14. All right, here's a good one. Calvin Ridley or Chris Godwin. So the tough thing here is like, how are we going to view Calvin Ridley if Trevor Lawrence doesn't play? And then we don't really know. I mean, it's like you said, it's kind of leaning towards he's going to play, but generally, I would say just go Calvin Ridley and take the upside because Chris Godwin has had no ceiling lately. But like, how good I feel about Ridley with backup quarterback out there. I probably just go Ridley. I don't know if you have a
Yeah,
different.
I mean, yeah, I kind of go, yeah. Like CJ Beathard, if he does play, like Trevor's gonna be super gimpy if he plays. Like there's no movement there, and that's gonna hurt. Beathard again has like a hurt left shoulder, so I don't know if he's even been taking the snaps this week. I mean, Ridley was good against Cincinnati for a good portion of that game. I think if Trevor does play, I'd like Ridley. If he doesn't, I'd love Evan Ingram on the Jags. If anybody's out there, I'd like, especially in like a PPR, half PPR, because Beathard throws him a ton. It looks like, but Godwin has just been Tampa Bay's offense. It's just like it's Mike Evans, the GOAT, and then everybody else. Mike Evans is just carrying this franchise, and Rashad White. Obviously, White is like finally getting to run the ball, even though this might be historically the worst. Is he playing the 16 hardest running defenses this season in Tampa Bay? Like, I don't know, but Godwin is just so unreliable. I'd go Ridley here.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, it's not really a good matchup for either receiver here. The Falcons, surprisingly, they're the 7th best team against wide receivers. And on the other hand, the Browns are the 4th best. But I think you just go Ridley here. At least there's some upside involved, really, regardless of who's at quarterback. But I completely agree with the Evan Ingram point. If you guys watch the end of that Jags Bengals game, it's like Beathard just looked for Ingram like every play. So I think he's a good play for sure. But yeah, between these two, Shane, I think we both like Ridley. Orac, this is my playoffs week. Yeah, I know for some of you guys, playoffs start week 14, which just makes it even scarier. But let us know what you guys need, of course, if you're starting playoffs this week as opposed to next. Ridley or Ford in the flex? Another Ridley question. I would say the kind of safe play is Jerome Ford. Like he'll get you like 10-ish points. You won't really notice, but they'll be there. And he has some touchdown upside, but yeah, I would probably go Ford.
Yeah, the Jags got gashed by me. I mean, they got gashed last weekend. So maybe they tighten it up. It's every week with the Jags defense. Like, are they good? Are they not good? We have zero idea week in, week out what the Jags defense is going to look like. But Cleveland's going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball. So,
yeah, I'll take Ford here. Yeah, Jags defense looked
bad.
a little suspect last week. Yeah. Start to our Fields. My opponent has Tyreek, so Tua can help match him touchdown wise, I think. This is a tough one because I think Fields is like a great, I don't want to say sleeper pick. A lot of people like him, but this is the Lions, like defense has not been great late. Yeah, on top of that, they've been bad against quarterbacks. And on top of that, Fields like
been bad against Fields.
Yeah, he like plays his best football against the Lions. So I really like Fields, but I've been saying it all season long. Like if you own Tua, you probably just start Tua. The upside is so massive. It's not a great matchup against the Titans, but I just don't really care. And their secondary's been weak, and we know what this offense brings to the table. So, I mean, this might sound kind of weird, but I'll say Tua for a floor, Fields for upside. But
Weather's good in Chicago. It's only 39, so that shouldn't hurt Fields too much. I like the playing against Hill. Like Tyreek Hill's the best player in this matchup, and if you can do anything to kind of neutralize his best player, i.e., his touchdowns are meaningless essentially, or they cut into him and you cut into his yards. I think that helps a lot. So if Tua has a bad day, that means Tyreek had a bad day, and you're probably in good shape.
it's tough. I like both these guys, but I just think Tua is so hard to bench. And I don't know. Some of these teams, I think, here at the end of the
Titans
season,
quitting. They're quitting. We talked about this.
they're just gonna start really exposing themselves. And I just don't know about this Tennessee, uh, especially the secondary, this Tennessee defense. But on top of that, you're gonna see some of these teams offensively like to start piling on points here and there. And I think the Dolphins a good candidate. So hard to bench Tua. It's been hard to do it all season long. Oh, Cup or Ford in the flex, says Chase. I kind of like Cup this week, actually. I think the targets will be there. I think this Rams team slowly, quietly evolving into a potential real playoff contender. Just a weird, gritty team. I don't know. I think there's going to be more points in this Ravens Rams matchup than some people might be anticipating.
I think this is just a bad spot for the Rams. So like Baltimore's played 2 games in like 30 days. They're super fresh, super healthy.
Yeah. But we like garbage time points.
We do. The question is, what is the pass rush going to look like for Baltimore? Because Stafford is just trash can when he's off his spot this year. Like
Sure.
the numbers of him under duress, he looks like Zach Wilson. When he's not, looks like as good as anybody. So we'll see. We'll see this game.
If you feel bad about, like, you don't feel great about Cup, which, if you didn't have that touchdown last week, there's really nothing there, right? Ford is super safe. Won about 10-ish points. Take them. Full PPR, need 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a flex. We got Henry, White, Jones, Edwards, Madison, Allen, Chase Thielen, Higgins, and C. Watson. I mean, I'm probably still starting Henry. I'm probably still starting Rashad White. I'd probably flex Gus Edwards, and I would probably start Keenan Allen and Jamar Chase. I mean, these have been the best players out of this bunch all season long. I don't think you overthink it. I think you just roll with your guys. And yes, Christian Watson's out, so we can't start him. But I'm not starting Aaron Jones for the rest of the year.
Ever.
It's just over. Madison.
Never.
It's an okay matchup. Pete's not starting him. We know that. Thielen, I don't know what happened there. That's over with, I think. Maybe not. But he's had 2 good matchups in a row and still done nothing. Higgins, can't trust him. Watson's not playing. So go with your main guys here. Henry, White. Gus Edwards, not a great matchup, but I like them coming off the bye at home. Gus probably score. Keenan Allen's probably your best play here. Then Chase said it all last week. Chase is still an okay play. Didn't expect him to do what he did, but still, I think on a week-to-week basis, we'll have the volume. So, all right. And flex, full PPR, start Puka, Ayuk, or Gibbs. Ayuk, for sure. Couple interesting rematches this weekend. One of them being the Niners and the Hawks. And reports are that Geno Smith might not play, which would be not very entertaining. But I think this Niners team, the way they've looked the last 2 weeks or so, all season they look good, but I think you have to start Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, of course C-Mac, but even Purdy. I think it's a great week for them. So not even close. You got to go Ayuk here. And that Eagles-Cowboys game, just start everyone, right?
Yeah.
Those are the 2 matchups I kind of have circled in large. All right, Ridley or Dobbs? Worried about Jacksonville this week. I like Romeo Dobbs this week because Christian Watson's not playing. The Packers are in need of a win. Like they need to keep winning football games. It's a great matchup. I know the Giants defense at times has looked pretty good, but still, overall in the season, they've been really bad against wide receivers and running backs. So if you're worried about the Jacksonville situation, the matchup against Cleveland, Trevor Lawrence, whatever, Romeo Dobbs a great play. All right, E1 flex, Garrett Wilson, Addison Flowers, Clyde, McKinnon, and half PPR. I would go Addison and either Flowers or one of the Chiefs running backs. We only need one. We only need one. Sorry. I probably go Addison.
I don't know if you can go Addison.
I know you don't like that. But.
I just don't we just don't know what the pass. I mean, they threw for like 30 yards against the they couldn't move the ball against the Bear secondary, whose secondary is bad. Couldn't move the ball, so it's a risk. It's gonna be. I mean, if it's good, it's gonna be great because he's not gonna get any coverage with Jefferson back out there. You can't play Garrett Wilson ever in this. Like the Jets, burn the Jets to hell. The Rams secondary is not that good though.
Zach Wilson coming back could be at least Garrett Wilson knows what to expect on a weekly basis from his quarterback. How do you feel about Clyde Edwards-Helaire versus McKinnon? I kind of like Clyde.
Yeah, Clyde got the touches last week. It looked like, and McKinnon's been a little. I think he missed. He's been banged up or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just getting to that point in the season. Maybe McKinnon's just too old. Where it's like, this is where McKinnon has feasted the last few years with the Chiefs. Like he comes in late, big games. Check down to McKinnon, he goes for 20. Check down to McKinnon, he goes for 8. It's a lot of that, but I don't know what to expect out of this Bills-Chiefs game. Like,
I know.
Buffalo's defense is kind of bad. So
they're definitely bad against running back. So I like both CH and McKinnon this week. I feel like I kind of like Clyde Edwards-Helaire more.
Yeah, I think he's going to get the touches, like the runs, and they kind of have to run the ball, but Kansas City's broken right now. Like they ran all over Green Bay and then just instantly stopped running all over Green Bay to not score. Matt Nagy, then, get rid of him.
To make it more confusing, like this Chiefs defense is still really good. So like I said, going in the weekend, have a couple games circled, and like you want to circle this game, but it just gives you that feeling of like, I don't know exactly how this one's gonna go. Yeah, I like the potential upside in Addison here, but it being that it's half PPR, I think you can go Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But if you went McKinnon, I don't think that's anything wrong with it. And I still like Zay Flowers. This is tough.
Yeah, the Rams defense has not been good.
Browning or Minshew? I'll go Minshew. But if you went Browning, I don't think there's a giant disparity, honestly. I think you could see a similar stat line out of both. I don't get the Dobbs hate in full. He is solid in the offensive line as a Niners fan. Mullins is not it. See, I mean...
Well, Mullins has a better career record than Josh Dobbs, and nobody knows that, which is the problem.
See what Kevin O'Connell can cook up here.
Also, we don't have no offensive line. The Vikings have like the 6th-ranked offensive line this year. Their O-line's been fantastic. It's not been a dumpster fire, especially the last 10 weeks or so. It's been pretty good. He just can't throw from the pocket. Nick Mullins can throw from the pocket.
I miss Kirk Cousins. That's all.
Yup. It sucks.
Need 2. Mostert, Bijan, Javonte. I would probably go Mostert and Bijan. At least the upside is there. Like Javonte is just like honestly, just a desperate RB2 play at this point. At least you get upside with the other 2. Olave, Metcalf, Flowers, Reed. See, this is like a weird thing because I don't really like Metcalf this week.
No, not at all.
No. I mean, especially if Geno doesn't play, but against the Niners, like, and I mean, listen, I like Metcalf, but I've said it all season long, like he just doesn't really have a ceiling. And then of course last week he has 3 touchdowns, but When you look at the rest of the season, it just hasn't been there. I'll stick with Olave. He was my play last week. It worked out. Maybe not as many points as we would have liked, but good enough points, full PPR.
Well, he got tackled on like the one twice, didn't he? I think,
Yeah,
or something
true.
like that. So he could have had a touchdown in there, and then we had a great week.
And I go Jaden Reed against the Giants with no Christian Watson. I just think there's more upside involved there. Is that crazy?
No, that makes sense. Like you said, like I'd kind of want to look at Locke's targets of DK because if things do get bad, DK might see a lot of volume. Like DK on a slant, DK on a slant, DK on a slant, and he's just throwing 3-yard.
I mean, I'm not going to say you shouldn't start DK necessarily. It's just so tough. It's like I know we're not going to see what we saw last week.
No shot.
And
Zero
when
shot.
they played the Niners the last time, he had I don't know, 5 or 6 points at most. But he's still Metcalf. he can still be in your lineup anytime. I'm not going to be mad about it. But I definitely like Olave. I just think you keep rolling with him. He's been fine. Metcalf, Reed, and even Flowers is still debatable. But I think for upside play, you go Reed. Metcalf and Flowers are definitely giving you a good floor. But it's fair. I mean, maybe if Locke is out there, Noah Fant, who Drew Lock loves, and DK Metcalf have good games. My entire home league team is almost entirely healthy. Kenneth's still injured. Picked Goddard up to back up in place of McBride. Yeah, I do like picking up Goddard. Like if you guys went out and got him, and you have another tight end you believe in it, nothing wrong with that. It's just not a great matchup this week. Let's see. Need a flex, full PPR, Pittman or Collins? I definitely go Pittman. He's just been so good this year. So dependable, good matchup. Nico gets the Jets. That's a weird matchup for me. I don't really like this Texans Jets.
Yeah.
I'm thinking low scoring there. Caleb says, I think it's time to quit doing sports bets. I keep losing. Yeah. Just, take a break, whatever. Every app has a different term for it, but do the cool down thing for a month and pencil in your bets on a piece of paper, track them, and then come back in a month. What's up, Caleb? Let's see here. Mostart, Aaron Jones, Javonte, and James Cook, full PPR. I'm sticking with Mostart. I don't have a problem with Mostart. He didn't need to play the second half last week.
Touchdown, easy, automatic.
Yeah. I don't really care who he's playing. I don't care if you want to start Mostart, Devontae Chain, Tyreek, and Jalen.
Start them all.
I don't really care who they're playing. I mean, there's going to be points on this offense. So definitely Mostart for me. Chris Godwin or Adam Thielen. Oh, goodness gracious.
PPR, Thielen, baby.
That's what I was going to say. He gets the Saints this week, though. That's not even a good matchup.
No, it's not.
6 targets, 3 receptions, 25 receiving yards last week. I just don't feel good about Thielen. I don't feel good about Godwin, though. And he doesn't particularly have a good matchup. But, I don't know. The Falcons have played good enough against wide receiver ones, and Godwin's kind of wide receiver 2. And they got to put that pressure on Evans, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go Godwin. I wish the Adam Thielen thing would come back to life because I enjoyed that. All right, T-Law or Josh Dobbs? I guess we got
one's hurt and one could get benched. It's not great.
I wanted to see Pete's answer.
I'm very concerned. I have Trevor. I picked up Russell Wilson this week because Kyler's on bye for Trevor. It's I'm gonna play Russell. I can't. It's one hit and he's out of that game because there's no reason for the Jags to play him. There's really not. You have to pick and choose your battles if you're Jacksonville. and they have to just focus on winning the division games. Like they have one division game left. They have to make sure he's good to go against like Tampa and Carolina and Tennessee. Like what he does against the Browns and Ravens, probably not going to matter. Houston and the Colts are going to lose a game here, and then they control the destiny with the tiebreakers.
So isn't this kind of like a similar ankle injury to what Mahomes had last year?
I think so. I think
I
it's
think
a
it
high
is.
ankle. It's a high ankle sprain. It's sounds like it's not super severe.
Yeah,
It's kind of like a low grade, but that's
yeah,
usually like 3 weeks, like 2 to 3 weeks at
I know.
least. And
That's
they're
what they
trying
said
to
about Mahomes, though. I mean, he's probably getting a couple shots a day of whatever.
but there's also a little difference. Like that was in the middle of a playoff, like a Super Bowl run. Like Mahomes was not gonna go play
Sure.
out there. And Trevor, I don't know. It just looked worse than Mahomes did.
Or I mean, I was so scared when he went down. I was. That's probably
Everyone thought Achilles, right? Like I instantly thought it was
oh,
Achilles or something, like without
it
even
was so
seeing it.
bad, dude.
I was like, here we go again.
Yeah, this is a tough call. I'm a little worried about T Law this week. I agree. Like one thing goes wrong and he's out, and it's just not even
Play
a great matchup. You know,
play Dobbs, and if it goes bad, like it just don't be surprised if he gets benched.
I lean Dobbs. I'm worried about T Law this week. I'm in a super flex league where I have T Law and Dobbs and someone else, and I'm benching T Law. So I'm too worried about it. I have Jordan Love. That's my other quarterback. So I'm like going
That
Love and
yeah,
Dobbs. I'm like,
yeah.
I think I can do this. Berman says they said they're going to give Godwin the rock more. I hope so.
I'll believe it when I see it. What about Aaron Jones? Been hearing all Aaron Jones all year too.
All year. Caleb, start two. Derrick Henry, Brees Hall, Drake London, Swift, Addison Davis, or Chuba. You got to stick with Henry. It's painful sometimes, but you got to stick with him. Drake London, I like this week due to matchup, but I don't trust him. I don't trust Arthur Smith. Dude, Chuba Hubbard's been so good lately.
Yep.
I think I go Henry and Chuba. You can go Swift if you want, but
I can't trust Philly. He also does Swift alive. Like I watched that man's
no,
soul leave his body
I know.
for a minute there.
I have not been worried about Swift all season long, but I'm a little worried about Swift right now. I'm worried about Brees Hall right now too. I don't feel great there. Gabe Davis, you can always throw out there. He's kind of like Taysom Hill. Expect disappointment. I don't mind Addison. Gabe Davis is the Taysom Hill of wide receivers.
Yep.
But I think the best plays here, Derrick Henry and Chuba, actually. All right, start three. We got Olave, Ayuk, Adams, Collins, Puka. I go Olave, Ayuk, and Adams.
Yeah.
I feel good about that, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
think
think Adams has a big week this week. I think.
yeah, coming off the bye at home, Minnesota's secondary is not good.
They just
Uh,
allow a ton of catches. So like the full PPR, 9 catches for 113 yards. Great day.
yeah, I like Adams a lot this week. I'm a little worried about Nico this week. I think if you have to play him, you can. It's like
I
he'll be.
It's a bad matchup, but you don't have to play Nico, but do not be surprised if Nico kind of shocks everybody. I think he's kind of built to be this number one receiver that nobody talks about. I watch his routes, man. His underneath stuff and his drags and crosses are elite. Like he just gets so much separation on those routes. And the Jets aren't that great in man defense. Like they're just kind of not
Yeah,
that great.
I mean, I always say it. Even if you're going up against a good corner, good wide receivers play well against good corners too. So I like that. I mean, I like Nico. So I'm just a little worried. I just feel like it's not that I'm necessarily overly worried about Nico. I just have a bad feeling about that game. Like I was saying, like I feel like
The
it's gonna be
Jets are going to win and screw it up for themselves.
I know. I feel like it's going to be like a low scoring, like Zach Wilson revenge game, something weird. Puka, I think is okay this week. I think he's okay every week. He looked great last week. So, but yeah, I go Olave, Ayuk, Adams. Stick with those guys. Tommy, what's up, man? Zeke came through me in Dynasty. Dropped the rest of my free agent bidding. Got Zeke and Noah Brown. With Dell out in the Seahawks backfield situation could help for sure. Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're just starting Zeke for the rest of the year as long as Ramondre's out. Like,
I'm so sad. I'm
I know.
so sad. I have Ramondre. I had Ramondre for the playoff runs because he does like this is what New England does with their running
Yeah.
backs. They just chunk up points the last 6 weeks of the season.
Yeah, and it's like I had Zeke in like a couple leagues this year, just kind of like floating on my bench, like drop him, pick him up. Never held on to him when I needed him. So, but I'm happy some of you guys got in full PPR is like 27 fantasy points. All right, we got Texans, Packers, or Niners. Got to go Niners. Got to go Niners. Because if Geno doesn't play and you own the Niners defense, you have to start them. I do think the Texans are a little sneaky though. Me and you fighting for the final playoff spot and redraft. I need you to lose and me to win with 20 more points. Yeah, looking through all my leagues, there's a lot of like number 6, number 5 seeds that are like super close. So it's gonna be a fun end to the fantasy season with you guys. But Tommy, may the best man win. Josiah, what's up? Good to see you. With Pacheco out on Sunday, to go with Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Jerick McKinnon? I'm on Team Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I think we've settled on CHE this weekend. We're gonna go Clyde Frog.
I think you can still start McKinnon. You know, McCaffrey, Madison, my other 2 running backs. I would just start them. I mean, obviously, starting McCaffrey. I think Madison's a little sneaky this week. I don't think Pete's gonna like that.
I will never endorse an Alexander Madison play ever.
That's fair. 10 touches his last game, 2 targets. The Raiders giving up the 8th most fantasy points to running backs. I think he's okay. Do you like? Let me ask you this: do you like a Chiefs running back or Alexander Madison more this week?
Probably a Chiefs running back just because of the touchdowns. Like
Fair.
Madison doesn't have a rushing touchdown on the season. Ty Chandler does.
Fair.
I like Ty Chandler, but I just don't know. I don't know. Chiefs run the ball into the end zone a lot.
Sure. I do like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I do like the matchup against. Like, if Pacheco was healthy, I mean, obviously, if you own Pacheco, you probably are starting him no matter what at this point. But I was going to love Pacheco as a good play this week because this Bills run defense has been so soft. So if you like Clyde Edwards-Helaire over Madison, I think that's fine. But obviously, you start C-Mac no matter what. His anytime touchdown this week is down to like negative 420. It's like
automatic.
Yeah, it's been just lowering all throughout the week. All right, DJ Moore or Gibbs. I definitely go DJ Moore. Love this matchup for him. The Lions secondary has been so bad lately.
Bears have like the best run defense in football. They're really, really stout.
This game is going to be actually, I think, a little bit more interesting than people might anticipate. But yeah, DJ Moore for sure.
It just gets me disgusted. The Lions lose this game again, and it's going to be like if Kirk Cousins didn't get injured, these bozos weren't winning their division ever. Like, there's they're going to screw this up, but the division's so bad, the Lions are going to find themselves in a home playoff game.
You know, I do like this Lions team a lot, but I think they have some issues. I think they're going to be a playoff team, but there's going to be maybe some tough realizations once they get into
they broke the golden rule. Like, they said, we're not going, this is not our year. Every year is your year. You don't know when your window's closing. They didn't make a move to go get a corner or a pass rusher. Their defense is now exposed. The division is never going to be as bad as it is this year. Like, Jordan Love looks like he can play. Caleb Williams is coming into Chicago. God knows what Minnesota's going to do at quarterback. But, yeah, you got to win every year if you got a shot.
That's fair. Evan Engram, likely Jordan, Auden, or Everett. Engram. To stick with Engram. I like Everett this week too, but Engram, don't think about it. Let's see here. Who would you hold rest of the season? Keaton, Mitchell, or McKinnon? I would hold Mitchell personally because this Ravens team is a playoff team for sure. And at some point, it will not surprise me if they start to kind of try and rest a player like Gus Edwards.
Or just feed Mitchell. Like, maybe they just incorporate him more off of the bye.
Yeah, for sure. I could see both things happening. And it's the Ravens, you know, they like to alternate guys. But yeah, I like Keaton Mitchell because I think you get more upside. but McKinnon's okay for sure. Pollard or Moss?
It's tough.
That is actually tough. Man, we liked Zach Moss last week. He didn't do a whole lot, but I think he'll bounce back this week. And this is like Pollard had a nice little stretch there where telling you guys like there's a good stretch coming up here against a lot of bad run defenses, and now this week it's a little bit tougher, of course.
He's playing the best.
Yeah, the best team in the league against running backs, but I expect points in that game. I don't know why, but I feel like the defenses are gonna bend in that game.
That game's gonna be in the 40s, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Philly's secondary has been bad, but the Cowboys' defense has not looked that good the last kind of week or so. I think you can go Moss though. I think you can.
I think Moss is the safer play. I think that's
Yeah.
a safe play. Like Pollard, I mean, man, maybe Pollard on a screen out of the backfield. Now Philly did pick up Shaq Leonard, Darius Leonard, the artist formerly known as Shaq Leonard.
Yeah.
He's pretty good at linebacker on backs. Like that's kind of his forte, or used to be. I don't know what his talent level is at this point. But yeah, I think Zach Moss is a safe play.
I like Zach Moss, but I won't be surprised if Pollard is okay. I think I'll put it this way: higher ceiling with Zach Moss.
Yeah, like Pollard takes like a 30-yard screen pass for a touchdown, and you're feeling like, damn it. But
yeah. I think Pollard's perfectly fine. We will play in the playoffs. What a bad season. It happens, Nick. David, playoff team, 10-man league. We got T-Law, Bijan, Pollard, Brown, Diggs, Amon-Ra, Hawkinson, Nick on the bench. James Cook, Javonte Goddard, super flex. Everything I do, I think you will do just fine. But super flex, you have T-Law quarterback. That's the only quarterback I see. Mm-hmm. That could be an issue. Let me know if you have any other quarterbacks on this team. I mean, you can get through a week or so with, you have good enough wide receivers and running backs here, but yeah, you need more than one quarterback in Superflex for sure. Especially if it's Trevor Lawrence who's hurt. Tommy, out of my home league playoffs, trying to go out with a bang. I'm sitting Eckler, Waddle, played Zeke, playing Kyron, A-Chain, Mitchell Cook, St. Brown, and Fields over Tua.
I like it. I like that. I like that approach a lot.
Go for it, Tommy. But I would consider throwing Eckler in because the Broncos are really bad against running backs. But I kind of like the lineup you have at the same time. Flex Keaton Mitchell or Zay Flowers? I'm still going to go Zay Flowers here. Mitchell, the worst thing about Keaton Mitchell is like, I will not be confident to start him like ever.
Until we see it. Until we see it.
Yeah, and like until there's like clear indication that he's going to get the volume on a consistent basis. So I'll go Flowers. All in one show, what's up? Yeah, send us your lineup. We're happy to take a look. Swift or Javonte? I think I still go Swifty. I'm going to go Swift.
Yeah, Charbs had a pretty good game last week against Dallas.
He did.
I just don't trust. Philly doesn't run the ball anymore. What's going on with them?
I don't really trust him, but I like him more than Javonte. Dobbs, Wilson, Flowers. Dobbs. Wait, I think it's just one. Swift or Javonte or Dobbs or Wilson. So yeah, ooh, that makes it interesting. Okay. Just one of these players at wide receiver. I thought it was running backs and then wide receivers. I still think Dobbs a good upside play. Just due to matchup, but even then, I don't know, he'll probably score one touchdown and get 2 more catches. So I think he's a safe play, I guess, a better way to put it. Who do you like out of these options?
I would lean Swift,
right?
Just because of the score. I think that's going to be a high scoring game. Mm-hmm. I don't I have a weird feeling about this Giants defense. The all 20, the stuff I listened to this week about Jordan Love in the all 22, his tape is not nearly as good as the performance he's put on the last few weeks. The tape is not good. And the Giants have been kind of really feisty against good passing teams and good passing quarterbacks for I don't know, whatever reason, like the last down the stretch, Giants decided they want to play football with old Tommy Meatball. I don't know. I have a weird feeling about that Packers game. Like 2 Monday night games, I don't know what's going on there.
I kind of think Flowers is pretty safe here, right?
Yeah. LA doesn't have a good defense. Like Joe
Yeah.
Flacco carved them up last week. Joe Flacco, the young man.
Dude, Joe Flacco storyline is like my favorite thing in the NFL right now. And he gets a good matchup this week. I think I go Flowers here, but I think Swift is also okay. These are like the type of like it's just so gritty, like it's such a big decision and here in week 14. I mean, these guys are all like super close. A-Chain or Gibbs? I just go A-Chain. I don't think we can bench A-Chain ever. If he gets hurt, oh well. You just don't want to have him on your bench if he's not hurt.
If he finishes a game, he's averaging like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. All right, what's up, Jonesy? Let's see. Defense. We got Dolphins versus the Titans, Texans versus the Jets. That's it.
I like the Dolphins. Dolphins have been trending up the last few weeks. They were awesome against a pretty good passing attack in Washington. They shut them down, got a pick 6. Tennessee is Tennessee.
I do like the Texans this week, but I would definitely just stick with the Dolphins for sure. All right. All in one show's got Hurts, A-Chain, Moss, Diggs, Waddle, Likely, Olave, Texans defense, and Sanders at kicker. I would feel pretty good here. You know, I think Zach Moss can have a good week, and then A-Chain kind of gives you that like pure upside pick. Hurts, just say no more. You're good there. I think Diggs coming off the bye hasn't been like super involved. Got involved in that game against Philly, but I don't know. Diggs just always angry, right?
Always.
Not a great matchup, but I'm okay with this matchup. Like some of these, like Eagles, Cowboys, Bills, Chiefs, like I'm just not too worried about the opposing defenses.
Throw the matchups out the window. It's like look for the best players in these games. They're going to make big plays in big spots.
Love Waddle this week. Full PPR. I think he just a solid game. Nothing crazy. Likely.
Call me in 2036 when Isaiah Likely's a thing.
Yeah. He's like, I was happy to see the amount of volume he got against, or in their last matchup against the Chargers, but I still don't love him on a week-to-week basis. He's just fine. Like tight end's such a mess. It's fine. Olave, I'm good with all the time. And I like the Texans, and Sanders will be just fine. So I feel pretty good here. Depends on who else you got. Oh, right here. Hall, Monty, Javante, Puka, Schultz, McBride. Oh, I would go. Oh, McBride's on bye week.
Yeah.
Start McBride anyways. Just kidding.
What about Schultz? I mean,
he might not. I don't think he's going to play.
Okay.
I think it's trending towards he's not going to play at all.
Oh.
So I guess you got to go Likely. That's probably
that makes a little more sense.
That makes more sense for sure. I think Monty is still a good start, even though the Bears' run defense is apparently really good. But I think A-Chain and Moss over him is okay. And I don't think you need to go Puka over Diggs, Waddle, or Olave, but who knows? You could, I guess. So I think your lineup is as good as it's going to get. All right, Logan, pick 2. Keaton Mitchell, ETN, CH McKinnon. I'm going to stick with ETN if he plays. I know he's banged up. It's not a good matchup, and Trevor Lawrence is questionable, but I will stick with ETN, and I will go Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm doing it. I'm officially confident in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Aaron Jones or Josh Downs? I'll go Josh Downs. I am not confident in Aaron Jones, which means he'll probably have like 2 touchdowns against the Giants. So, what's up, Box on the Jack? Are you flexing Ridley or Higgins? I'll still go Ridley. because these backup quarterbacks, they love two things: tight ends and the alpha wide receiver. And I think that I mean we've seen that with Chase.
I
I
was
think
not super encouraged with Higgins again with Browning. He doesn't look at him at all.
no. And I think Ridley will get the targets one way or another, even if Ingram is getting some as well. But yeah, I'll go Ridley. Not a good situation. Drop Murray for Browning. I love fantasy. Or stick with Fields. I would just roll with Fields. Yeah, yeah. Drop Murray to pick up CH. You could do that if you need the help, Doug. But I'd stick with Fields. You're good there. Apologies for kicker question. No, we love those. Aubrey or
Ooh.
D Hop? I will go Aubrey. Dustin Hopkins, when you look at the beginning of the season, great, fantastic. He still is coming in as like the kicker one. But if you look over the past like 4 or 5 weeks, he has not been good in fantasy. But he's scoring enough to keep him at kicker number one. He's getting like 7, 8, 6 points. This offense is just very, very different. I mean, look at the total, offensive points they're putting up on a weekly basis. Like it's not a lot. Aubrey's going to be in these matchups where there's going to need one way or another points are going to get scored. So
The only concern with Aubrey is if we got 5 touchdowns scored in this game and no field goals.
that is fair. But I feel better about Aubrey right now.
He doesn't miss kicks either. Like Aubrey's perfect on the season, so let him.
And
We're not
there's
going to miss
something
any
to
kicks.
be said about like bad offenses are better for fantasy kickers,
but not too bad of offense.
Yeah, yeah. I just haven't felt good about because I own Hopkins in a lot of leagues.
So do I.
And I was holding on to him because like he's a kicker one, but really when you look at the points lately, they haven't been there. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe Joe Flacco changes that though. So Eckler or Swift? I will go Eckler. Hopkins or Flowers? I will go Flowers, man. I don't trust D Hop at all. Henry or CH/McKinnon? Henry. JJ coming back. Should I drop the Cowboys or the Texans, who I just picked up? Texans have a great playoff schedule. Only other droppables or are Warren, Gus, Moss, Charbs.
That's tough.
The Cowboys the rest of the season.
Schedule's tough, very tough. They play Miami, play Buffalo.
That's such a tough decision because like they can still score points in those games, but and they get Detroit. Yeah, it means literally Philly, Buffalo, Miami, Detroit.
Those are good offenses.
Yeah, they're the defense one in fantasy, but some of that has to do with like these massive amount of points they scored against bad teams. They haven't played a lot of steep competition this year.
They haven't played good against steep competition either.
Fair, definitely. I would probably move on from the Cowboys and stream defenses the rest of the season. I want to drop the other guys on your bench there. Those are all startable running backs on a week-to-week basis. I would just, bite it and just face the fact here. You only really need to roster one defense and go from there. What are your favorite playoff defenses? It's been tough because so much has changed in the past couple of weeks in terms of like starting quarterbacks, for example. But then like a lot of these guys we thought were going to be good to stream against have not been good to stream against, like Jake Browning, for example, or Joe Flacco even. Jordan Love, right? So, you mentioned the Chiefs and the Colts here. I still like the Colts, but I just don't know if they're like really like an upside play. I mean, they get Browning, they get Mitch or Kenny, whoever's out there.
It's going to be Mitch.
Yeah, they get Ritter, then they get O'Connell. So I will probably stick with the Colts. I mean, they've hit double digits in their last 4 games. I'm a little bit actually worried about Kansas City, who I was pretty high on as a streaming offense. earlier in the year going into this part of the season, but
Houston, they got Tennessee, Cleveland, Tennessee, and the
yeah,
Jets this week.
I like
Those
Houston.
aren't good offenses.
Yeah.
I don't hate the Bears either. The Bears
It,
play the Falcons in the championship game. If the Falcons, you can't run the football against the Bears, and they play the Browns and the Cardinals after the
I like
Lions
that.
this week. Yeah, that's like those are not good offense. Those are offenses that have to run the football, and you can't run the football against the Bears.
That's sneaky. Yeah, I mean, I think if you can go with the Colts here, if they're out there, I would just roll with them, man. I think they're going to be solid. DJ Moore unbenchable through the playoffs. I mean, me, maybe I love my guy DJ.
Number
So
one, just play him. He's number one. Fields throws him the ball at least.
that's the main thing. If Fields is healthy,
throws him the ball. Yeah,
I mean, he gets Detroit, Cleveland, Arizona, Atlanta. Like,
love those good matchups.
sure, we'll take it. And yeah, big thing. If Fields is out there, you start him. All right, CH or Dobbs with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We're calling it.
Ooh.
You heard it here first. Downs or Jones? Downs. Hulu or Netflix? Half PPR. Netflix. Haven't seen anything on Hulu lately. What's going on, Carlos? PPR start 2. Henry, Spears, Godwin. Henry and Godwin for me. Take the volume. Full PPR, flex, JSN, Kincaid, or Addison. I might go Kincaid here.
Yeah, maybe.
For me, it comes down to like game script matchup points. I like Addison still. I don't think you do. Do you like JSN?
I would have went Addison over JSN if Geno doesn't play.
Agree.
Third option. Addison just doesn't see. We just don't see the volume with this Vikings offense. Like Underdogs, they don't have a lot of possessions. They don't have long sustained possessions when they do have the ball. I don't know. Kind of a weird team right now.
I like Kincaid. I got
It's just hard to flex a tight end. Like that's not the tight end.
I know. Who'd you start, Alexander Madison or Keaton Mitchell?
You got to start Madison. Like,
okay,
you just have to.
I'll go Madison too. Start one PPR wide receiver: Wilson, Higgins, Godwin. I will go Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson, yeah.
Just due to volume alone. It is
you can throw up when you plug it in, but
yeah,
don't watch that game. Just ignore it. Hope.
I don't see a high ceiling, but I'll go Wilson. Andrea, have a good night. Always good to have you. Pollard or Gibbs for the playoffs?
Well, Dallas has Buffalo next week, so that's a really good matchup for Pollard. But then he's got Miami and Detroit. It's not
Detroit's
great.
But I don't know if I care.
But if the Lions have Minnesota in the championship game, that's all I know.
I'd probably go Pollard because, I mean, I like Gibbs as next as as much as the next guy, but it's like there's still Monty.
Yeah, like Gibbs has Denver, Minnesota, then Dallas. Those aren't great matchups for Gibbs.
I'll go Pollard. But I wouldn't mind seeing Gibbs take off again at the end of the season. But all right, Kells, pick 2. Calvin, Higgins, Dobbs, Elijah Moore, Godwin, Addison. Pick 3 to start. Okay, I guess we're picking 3. I like Elijah Moore this week. I really do.
Him and Joe, man, they got a connection.
No, it's a good matchup. I literally probably would start Elijah Moore here. And I'd probably stick with Calvin Ridley. And I'd probably go Addison.
Oh, over Dobbs. You've been a little high on Dobbs. All right.
I like Dobbs here too. Like if you wanted to go Dobbs more, Addison, you could. But I'd probably go Ridley more, Addison. Unless Joe Flacco doesn't play for some reason.
If it's DTR.
Casey, good to see you. 8-man standard. I need to pick 3 between ET and A-Chain, DJ Moore, Pittman, and Metcalf. A-Chain and DJ Moore and Michael Pittman.
Yep.
Way too good at matchups for those guys.
way too good of players.
Sure. What's going on? RS German, Jacoby or Reed? I'll go Reed. Jacoby got involved in the last game script, but I'll go Reed. Oh, and Zay Jones is in there too, I guess. I'll go Reed. Start one to running back, Chuba or Mitchell. I'll go Chuba. Yeah. Trying to pick up some defenses for the playoffs. In week 16, would you rather have the Jets at home versus the Commanders or Eagles?
I'd rather have the Eagles against the
Right.
Giants. Like the Giants offense you have to run the football to get anything out of DeVito. Like Commanders can just drop a 400 burger like on you out of nowhere.
I'll go Eagles too. I agree. All right, we're gonna try and start running through here. Leaning towards Etienne and Pittman, considering Moore over Etienne. I like Moore. I think we both like Moore over Etienne, so I think we lean that way. Joe, what's up, dude? PJ, trade deadline this week. My team is Lamar, Purdy, CMC, Pollard, Diggs, Amon-Ra, Ferguson, Adams. I forgot about trades being a thing. Other than Dynasty for the year. No, your team looks good, man.
Stay pat.
Team looks just fine. Don't overthink it. All right, we already hit this one for Kels. You don't think Brevin Jordan over Ingram with Schultz out, T-Law possibly out? No, I like Ingram still. He was getting tons of looks from Bethard, so you could go Brevin Jordan if you want. Jets haven't been good against tight ends. You're welcome, Logan. We're happy to help. 18 PPR using Moss and Cook. Also have Charbs. I'd stick with those guys. Tommy, I'll cry if I miss our Dynasty playoffs. I hope you make it, bro. Your team, I will say, I was a little worried about your team going into the year. It has performed a lot better with a lot of young guys. So I'm happy for your team either way. Andrew, what's up, man? Good to see you. Going against the number one person in the league and making a tough choice. We'll get to it. Devin Singletary McKinnon or Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Say it. Say it.
I got to go Clyde here, man. I think he's going to have a good week. It's a good matchup. I think a good solid floor out of CH this week. Singletary and Damon Pierce are really weird split.
I think Pierce might be the one that has the week against the Jets this week. He feels like it's going to be a Pierce week.
And that's a good matchup.
Yep.
I'll go Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I feel good about it. This game decides if it make playoffs. Of course it does. Go CEH. Let's see. I like Matt Gay and Jason Meyer at kicker. Hopkins could ball out with Flacco. He might. How are y'all projecting Hopkins versus Miami on Monday night?
Not good.
Not good. I don't feel good about it, man. I just don't. Love or Fields? I will go Fields. But Love is okay. Houston, Green Bay, or Buffalo? Houston. Sorry, Zach Wilson. All right, I have Amon-Ra, Collins, wide receiver, one flex using Jaden Reed. Need one more flex, Garrett Wilson, Gabe Davis, Rashee Rice. If you want like an upside dart throw, go Gabe Davis. If you want a floor, I go Rashee Rice, and then I would go Garrett Wilson. Yes, you can start the Texans. Tony, what's up? Monty or Rashee Rice? I will go Monty. I don't ever fear starting David Montgomery this season. I think Taysom will go. If so, Kincaid or Tate. Kincaid. Yeah, Taysom might play. He's fine, but go Kincaid. Can you believe I have the Eagles, Niners, now the Ravens defense? Go Niners. I really like the Niners this week. Really, whether Geno plays or not, but if Geno doesn't play, for sure, go Niners.
The Eagles defense ain't like that, guys. Like, the Eagles defense is bad. They're not last year's Eagles defense.
They're purely matchup based. And the Rams are really good. It's going to show this week. Don't start
trash last week.
How are you feeling about Diggs versus the Chiefs? I mean, it is a tough matchup, but it's Diggs. Pete said it earlier. Don't look at matchups at this time of year. These stars are going to show up and make plays. Is McLaurin droppable? It depends on your league and your depth at wide receiver. He might be. I always tell
Depends
you
how much
guys,
cardio he's getting in this
yeah,
week.
this time of year, like if you're looking at a player on a week to week basis and you do not have the confidence to start them, then just drop them. Like unless you're just completely desperate at that position, you know. Would you all take Diggs over ETN? Yeah, I would personally. Lamar, Jordan Love. Lamar.
Got to play Lamar. Lamar.
Earl says, should I start Rashid Rice or Madison this week? It's supposed to be weird weather in Kansas City game. I mean, you're kind of looking at a floor for either player. Like Rashid Rice has been good, but they don't give him enough opportunities. Doesn't really have like huge upside. I would actually probably go Madison between the two.
Don't expect a touchdown though.
Yeah, but I'm not expecting a ton out of Rashid Rice, who I like, but I've liked him more in good matchups, and even then, the ceiling's been low. Is Brees even relevant anymore? Is he droppable? He's probably fringe droppable, but for me, a guy that I'll probably leave on my bench the rest of the year. He'll probably, I mean, let's see here. The Jets, the rest of the season, have Houston, Miami, Washington, Cleveland. Like, I would start him against Washington week 16 if he plays. And, like, maybe this offense gets a tiny spark from Zach Wilson. So, I mean, it really depends on your roster and your running back depth. I'm starting Clyde over Brees this week. I'm good at that. And, I mean, Brees is banged up right now. So, my running backs are Etienne, Monty, A-Chain, Connor, and Brees. I mean, if you're really struggling elsewhere, you probably don't need Brees. But don't be surprised if he pops off once or twice this year again, especially against Washington. I have Dak and Kyler. Please let Dak continue his MVP run. What is his ceiling against the Eagles? Need 3 touchdowns and 300 yards. I mean, he can do that. Yeah, this Eagles secondary sucks. So, yeah, I mean, I like Dak as much as anyone this week for sure.
Yeah.
Also have Kincaid and Dawson Knox. I would stick with Kincaid. And I'm a Dawson Knox truther. But that is probably over with. So Kincaid. What are your thoughts on Mark Andrews' return? Should I drop him? By the way, it's my B-Day. Happy birthday, Ander. Hope you've had a great birthday. No, you probably can drop Mark Andrews.
Yeah, he's not coming back for a fantasy season.
Yeah, you can move on. Happy birthday though. Start Purdy or Lamar. Yeah, the weather is supposed to be kind of iffy in Baltimore.
I think that kind of helps Lamar though. Like he's just gonna tuck it. Might see 100-yard game for Lamar finally.
I mean, if you are worried about it, you can go Purdy. He's a good floor play, but I would probably stick with Lamar. What about Fergo or Kincaid?
Ferguson. The Eagles are horrible against tight ends, and Dallas actually throws to Ferguson.
Agreed. I like Kincaid every week, but I like Ferguson a lot this week. He's basically a must start. Okay, made it to the bottom of the chat, so we'll go ahead and start wrapping up here. I didn't realize what time it was, so sorry. Guys, I pinned Pete's channel in the chat for you guys, so make sure you guys head over to Pete's channel after the review sports. Go drop him a sub for hanging out and helping us with fantasy questions tonight. Other than that, thank you guys for the fantasy questions tonight, hanging out with us and talking some week 14 fantasy. Always a pleasure. And I guess we'll go ahead and wrap up. So, Pete, anything you need to say before we head out of here?
Nope. A pleasure as always talking Friday fantasy with everybody. Last week of the season for most of us. Get it done, everybody. If you're out, ruin somebody's week, ruin their season, make them hate fantasy football. And if you're fighting for that spot, let's get this dub, and we'll be back next week for those playoff games.
I'm excited for playoff Q&A. It's always sweaty.
Get sweaty.
All right, Joe, last question of the night. 3 waiver moves left the rest of the season. Should I get a new kicker? McMahon is supposed to be rainy and windy. Need a win for a playoff bye. It's just like a playoff game for me. Sure. If you can find a kicker who you feel like is good enough. I mean, McMahon has been great this year, but now that offense can be different with T-Law banged up. So you can probably do so. There's only a couple weeks left. So if you feel like this is a playoff game and there's better upside out there, I would do it. Alex, what's going on, man? Been getting confused as starting any of Waddle or Evans that match up for wide receiver as well as Debo or Mike Evans. Yeah. A lot of good options for you. You can't really go wrong. Love Debo this week. I think Evans, even a bad matchup, will still play well. I think if you want to just go for the upside and go Waddle and Debo, that's completely fine. If you want to replace one or the other with a floor play and take Evans over one of them, that's completely fine too. But you're going to start two very good wide receivers no matter what. So don't overthink it, my dude. All right, pick one running back, Roshan, CH or McKinnon?
CH.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Should I keep both the Chiefs and the Ravens defense? Sure, but if you have to drop one, it's the Chiefs. All right, guys, hit the like, subscribe. Thank you guys for the fancy questions, and everyone have a safe start to your weekend. And I'll talk to you guys soon. So with that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, yes, odd here on the catch. And peace.